Yeah, we gotta get that down. That needs to be me. And
happy Tuesday. That's all changing. I got things in the works for you, man. I promise you, I got things in the works, and you're going to be happy with what we do. Hey, we've seen some really black football, and we've seen some really bad football. On this show, we're gonna become philosophers. We're gonna get to dream a bit. How about that? You're going to get the ability to create from scratch, let's just say, your own expansion franchise, your squad. You own it, okay? You get to see things happen all the time, like that. The guy down in the Carolina who just fired his 6th head coach since 2019. I want you to put a squad together. So we're going to sprinkle in our regular segments tonight, you guys. But it's time to get down to the nitty gritty and let us be experts and do the job for real, for real. You follow me?
I'm not really an expert, but yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. So Coach Noob is with me tonight. Give him a shout out, Coach Noob.
It's good to see you guys. Hunting season. That's why I'm wearing the hat. Hunting season.
Rasheen, the Dream Hill.
Wabbit season.
He got the district t-shirt on tonight. And T-Sizz.
What's good?
T-Sizz. What's that say behind you? Some sort of football.
College
football playoff.
I like it.
I was just watching it. Got the big Booger McFarland on there.
Booger McFarland.
Giving us the rundown. Like Coach T said, play me some music. Let's go.
All right, let's rock this. Hey, I sent you guys a clip the other day. Jacob Trouba, the New York Rangers, using his stick in a hockey game against Trent Frederick, the Boston Bruins. He was fined like $5,000 or something stupid.
The maximum fine.
If you were in charge of the NHL, if you were in charge of discipline, how would you have handled that?
I would have definitely suspended him. They said if that guy would have failed, he would have got a suspension. Like what? Why? So that guy's a tough ass. He could stand and take a hit to the head, but no suspension is required. I think he definitely needs suspended. And the guy makes $8 million. This is like a 0.06% of his paycheck. He could probably afford a little bit more, and he's noted for these hits and laying people out, taking out on stretchers. Come on, something more needs to be done.
If you sneeze on a quarterback in the NFL, you get fined $30,000.
Yeah,
for saying that, I'm fining you.
They should find him more and definitely at least a 3-game suspension. It's got to hurt a little bit. Come on, man! You can't hit people with a hockey stick. He looked like his batting practice. That was ridiculous.
So you guys are telling me that only the black guy thinks that we should just let it roll.
Did you see?
You really feel like that's okay?
Yes. I mean,
what if it was your son who was getting hit by a hockey stick like that?
Noobs, man, you sign up for this stuff, man. You don't got to sign up. You don't got to sign for this money, noobs. Never.
You don't sign up for getting hit in the face with a hockey stick. That's
ridiculous.
back in the
90s, you guys.
Go ahead, Maradei, hit it.
There's a guy by the name of Dino Ciccarelli. At the time, he played for the Minnesota North Stars, and he took a two-handed swing at some guy's head. And he was charged. He was literally charged by the police.
They're criminal charges. It's a criminal charge.
Yeah, it was criminal charges. Like you can't use that as a weapon. It's bad enough that a guy got his throat slashed by a guy and he died, unfortunately. But you absolutely positively cannot use your stick as a weapon. You're taught that's hockey 101.
Well, that's just reading. They were trying to justify it, saying that the defender's hand was on top of his. That's why he swung like that, and then he continued.
Bullshit. Go look at it. I can pull it up right now and show it to you.
I watched it 50 times. I don't see anything that the defender did to not instigate nothing. Like it
doesn't matter. You can't do that. He could have called his mom a bum. You can't do that.
I'm sure he would have called her something a little bit deeper than a bum.
Hey,
but I get it.
He was calling her the guards, Mom. They would have, yeah, right. So,
PG rated.
I get it. I just, to me, when you start putting yourself out there like that and doing shit like that, you're really taking the game to another level. And for the NHL, basically, to just be like, oh, it's okay. We don't mind that. That's insane to me. You know what? I'm going to show you the clip. I think I can present this clip.
What were the Broad Street Bullies doing in Philly back in the day?
They weren't doing shit like that, Rasheen. I can guarantee you.
Okay. Just crushing people.
Well, they hit people. They knock. I don't have a problem with the guy crushing somebody. I don't. That's what hockey's all about. Shit, my 14-year-old loves to do that shit. That's what he's all about. But at the end of the day, you can't take a stick and swing it at somebody's head. You just can't. That's just, hockey in so many ways is a gentleman's sport. They beat the shit out of each other, then they shake hands at the end of it. It's not like that. It's like in the NFL when you see all these guys on both teams after they pounded the snot out of each other. And this is one of my favorite things about going to an NFL game, and you don't see this. These guys get together in the middle of the field and they hold hands and they pray. And there's not 5 guys there. There's 50 guys there. And I think that's amazing. And I love that. And I always point that out to Vincent when we go to a live game and before we leave. I say, look, Vince, those dudes are beating the shit out of each other, probably calling each other all kind of names. But at the end of the day, that is sportsmanship right there, Yep. So let me see if I can pull this. I want to pull this up for you guys.
But while you're doing that, I did see, and you were joking about sneezing. I can't remember the wide receiver. He came to get the safety or the linebacker. He got fined $30,000, I think, just because there was a little touch with the helmet. And that's
blocking.
Yes.
That was a bad call. That was a bad call. I didn't like that at all.
All right.
They were doing a comparison of the two, and it's just like apples and oranges. It's crazy.
Can you guys see this?
No.
I'm trying to share it out.
No. Listen, you got to do that before the show.
What, share it out?
No. Make sure that kind of stuff works.
I did, and it worked.
It ain't coming.
Okay. Well,
bring Terry back in. Give her a stick and let her hit you in the head. Show her how it works. Show her what it looked like.
Tell me, you seen the Kachuk brothers fighting last night, Maradei?
Were they fighting each other?
Probably. Those dudes are vicious. Those dudes are vicious. Okay, here we go.
Is it like the Extreme Brothers? Or whatever they were called?
Here's your clip.
I lost you guys. Okay. I don't know what happened.
Here's your clip. If you did not see this clip, here it is.
Nope.
There you go. For those of you watching, that's it right there. So he takes a two-handed swing at his head. That's beyond where it needs to go. And what pisses me off more is the fact that the NHL turns their head to that shit.
This guy's infamous for it. He's infamous for these hits.
He just the other night he just dipped his shoulder and took another guy's head off.
And this is taking it to another level.
You want to be a bad guy? Go back to the 80s and 90s when guys like Marty McSorley and Bob Probert were playing the game and they'd have beat the shit out of you.
Kasperitis.
Yeah, well, Kasperitis would have taken your knees out. He'd have hip checked you. But at the end of the day, there's just no place in my mind for stuff like that. So hopefully Rasheen gets to rejoin us here. Let's move on to this second spontaneous reaction, guys. Thanks for your input on that. Here you go. Texas A&M wasted little time replacing Jimbo Fisher with Duke's Mike Elko. Was this a rash decision? Elko has ties to A&M. I agree. But he had established a winner at Duke with a potential number 1 overall draft pick in 2025. So from that perspective, did he move on a little bit quick?
I don't know. Go ahead, Noob. What are you going to say?
No. I think number one, he deserves the job. He does have ties there. Wasn't he a D coordinator for 2 years?
D coordinator, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Something like that.
Has ties there. He did an amazing job at Duke. He turned them around.
Yes, he did.
There is a ceiling to what you can do at a school like Duke or a Wake Forest. Like there's a ceiling at those schools.
Right.
I think he reached it at a phenomenal rate. I don't know that you could do much better. I don't know that his stock could be higher. I think he sold high on himself, and he did a hell of a job there. As long as he gets the guys in there that can recruit, I think he'll do well.
And
what do you guys think?
Whoa, wait! They can recruit at A&M.
They already got the money, right?
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Yeah,
that's
money talks, man.
That should do great.
But Nope.
Last thing, Duke was 5-18 the previous 2 seasons without him, 16-9 with him in 22 and 23. That's pretty damn crazy.
And he lost his starting quarterback, which dude's a stud, Riley Leonard. He lost.
Yeah, I just said that. Yeah, you mustn't have got back on yet. He's a potential number 1 guy next year in the 2025 draft. He is a stud.
I like him.
You say lost him. Where's he going?
Well, he got hurt.
He got hurt.
What I saw is that he might be going to Notre Dame anyway.
Riley Leonard?
Yes.
Wow.
And so,
it makes sense.
I don't know the chicken came before the egg or what happened here. Was the coach make the decision based on Leonard saying I'm leaving, or did Leonard leave after coach said, peace, I'm out? So, one or the other. I think Duke was not heading in the right direction because one was going to leave, and then I think the other just kind of transpired off of that.
We don't know how he would have developed the next guy, and that's the thing.
Right.
How much influence did he have on developing Riley Leonard? He's getting a raw kid from high school that has potential, but bless you. That's a big thing. Sam Hartman went to Notre Dame. He honestly did better at Wake Forest than when he did at Notre Dame.
Oh my gosh, did he ever?
There's a lot of pressure on you when you go to Notre Dame. There's a ton of pressure on you. It's not the same Notre Dame. I don't care who goes in there and coaches. It's just not the same. You can go ahead and go 9-3, 8-2, 10-1, and whatever, get a dance invitation, but they're just not the same. They don't have that killer instinct to get them over the top anymore. They can't beat the Ohio States, the Michigans. That's why they're not on their schedules.
I thought they were going to. I thought Hartman was going to take them to the next level this year.
Me too. Me too.
But 100%. I noticed that Notre Dame. I think it's just too hard to get certain kids into that school, bro. And when you don't get them certain kids,
yeah. And who knows what their NIL money looks like? NIL.
At where?
At Notre Dame, is it as good as those? The Alabamas and the Texas A&Ms. Is it? Do they have that same kind of money?
I doubt it.
Yeah, I agree with you, Rasheen. I don't think they have the same kind of money. It's a prestigious school. It has a huge history, but I don't know if they get that kind of money from their alumni.
How does that work? So it's just like alumni, they have like an NIL and people just dump money in it. Is that how this works?
Simplistic way to say it, pretty much.
Oh, well, yeah.
Rasheen Hill owns Rasheen Hill Cars, Rasheen Automotive, and he's got 25 body shops all over the greater Pittsburgh region. Rasheen Hill graduated from the University of Pittsburgh, and he gets on the phone with Heather Lyke, and he says, I've got some cash I'm going to throw your way if you get some players in here. That's how it works.
And I got 5 cars for you.
Yeah. At the end of the day, that's how it works. Ooh. So, all right. That's our spontaneous reaction for the week. Nice job, man. Hey, let's move on to week 12. Cowboys and Commanders. So let me say my piece here before I do anything else. Commanders still have a long-ass way to go. But in a salary cap league, that can change in a heartbeat. You guys know it. That's one of the things I love about the NFL and the NHL, to be quite honest with you.
Or injuries.
Yeah. The Cowboys are winning soundly, but have you actually seen their last 5 opponents? And if you haven't, let me read off to you guys their last handful of opponents. The New York Giants, who are 3-8. The Washington Redskins, 4-7. The New England Patriots, 2-8. The Jets, 4-6. Carolina, 1-9. The Rams, 4-6. And the Chargers, 4-6. Now, you don't make your schedule and anticipate those things happening, but still, that's who the Cowboys are playing.
But I think that's a good thing because they're beating the people they're supposed to beat.
Right.
So but will it prepare them? Will it prepare them for the hard games? I don't know. It's the NFL. I'm hoping you're up for all games, but
they've got a meat grinder coming up.
Yeah.
They've got some games coming up, and it'll be interesting to see what happens there. I don't know. What do the Commanders do, Mike?
Keep losing. Get their draft stock higher and higher, and get rid of Ron Rivera and get a good GM, which we're going to talk about in a little bit.
If they clean house with Rivera, are they going to clean out Bieniemy too?
The talk of DC is that a lot of the offensive guys aren't big fans of Bieniemy.
Okay, that's good.
I don't know. It's interesting because he came in and I was super excited about him being there, but I don't know. Like, is he? Like, I don't know. Like, you wonder. Like, you hear so much negativity. Is he? Some guys just have a chip on their shoulder, and they're hard to play for. Maybe he's that guy. Like, I don't know.
You think that might be why he didn't get a head coaching job? He came in and came off a little smug.
I heard he had never interviewed well in a lot of those. But who knows who's putting that out there? I don't know.
True.
We're being fact checked. Giants are actually 4-8, coach. And I think, did you hear what Rivera said? We're just putting guys out there to see what they can do and see if they can compete. And what the hell? We're getting ready for the playoffs. We're talking playoffs. And he's trying to get guys to see where they fit the scheme best. We're not right now. This is the time of the season to iron all those Michael's been ironed. You got
So you're saying you get the backup center playing tailback?
Yeah,
don't you? That's funny as hell.
Hey, you want to be the kicker? We need a kicker.
Doesn't it make sense though? Doesn't it make sense to fire Rivera and just see what Bieniemy can do for the end of the season? Just see what he does.
I think my preseason prediction was week 11 or 12, but they're not pulling the strings yet.
Hey, Mike, let me ask you this: Commanders end up with a top 5 draft pick. What are you getting?
Bowers, Brock Bowers, tight end from Georgia.
Really? You're not going to strengthen that line?
I mean, you can do that with the other 4 picks you have in the first 100 picks. Are there any other Brock Bowers out there?
If you're getting fired at 12 games.
Travis Kelce? It's pretty similar. All right. Well,
did you see Pat Freiermuth?
That's why I asked you. That's why I asked George Kittle.
We'll see. I got to watch. I haven't studied everybody, to be honest. I think the kid from Penn State's a little bit overrated, it looks like. But we'll see. The tackle.
How about that kid from Maryland, that big tackle, the transfer from Frostburg?
He's doing well, man. He's doing well. The good thing is he's very versatile. So I think that'll help his draft stock. He can play guard or tackle. He's done both pretty well.
We're going to get his big ass on the show. We're going to give him a call and get him on here for a little stint. We know enough kids now playing big time. We got to get some of these kids on the show. The unicorn. Robbie Smith called him the unicorn. Hey, Packers and Lions. What a travesty this was to me. I could kick Dan Campbell right in the mouth for letting this team fall apart like this against the Packers. Would they lose 29-16 or some stupid shit on Thanksgiving Day? How does he let this happen?
29-22.
29-22. They got a garbage touchdown in the end. How does he let this happen? How does he let this happen? He doesn't have a bunch of injuries. He's still got a starting quarterback. He's got his whole starting line. He's got both his running backs back. Amon-Ra St. Brown is there. I mean, Sam Laporta, who's probably there's your next Kelsey, guys. Sam Laporta is there. I mean, I don't know.
It was the holiday, man. Turkey, thoughts of family. They weren't in it.
I think coming into the season, Detroit's big question mark was their defense, and they haven't answered that yet. I think that they're not quite there. Yeah. I think they're another season away from having a legitimate defense, at least depending on what they can do, draft wise and through free agency.
But you rattled off all those offensive guys. I think you hit the nail on the head there, Noob. It's what Mark said is all offense. We didn't say any defensive guys other than Hutchinson. That's what they're going to firm up this offseason.
Well, their second number 1 pick was that linebacker, right? Or was he their number 2? Did they have 2 at number 1 or a 1 and a 2 high?
I think it was double ones. Campbell, you talking about?
Yeah, the inside linebacker
out of Iowa. Yeah,
he was a later first round draft pick, but he was sitting right there and they grabbed him. Him. Bills and Eagles. Let me say my piece about this. In the rain and sludge, well, not really sludge in the turf, but Josh Allen put his team on his back again, using his legs and arms this time. Didn't really turn the ball over. He's dangerous, guys. Josh Allen, if he learns how not to turn the ball over, he's probably the best player in the league, in my opinion. Okay. Davis runs the wrong route. If Gabe Davis doesn't run the wrong route toward the end of the game when they had it in OT, that's it. That's the game. God. Okay, that's the game. I am not, and Rob, you'll appreciate this, my man. I am not super impressed with the Eagles. I'm just not. They get it done. I understand that. But if you look at numbers and you look at a lot of the mistakes they make, they get a lot of fortunate bounces and things like that. I said to Noob the other day, and I know he thought I was crazy, and the other dude working with us now, Jake, I said to them, I'm going to make a bold prediction. Eagles get knocked out their first playoff game.
Woo, that's a bold. Yeah,
that's what I said.
Yes,
that's
I'll put money on that.
Hey,
I did
look,
I'm
not 100% right all the time, but I'll tell you what.
Mark, you all right?
The one thing that I did see that was fucking incredible, and I will drop that word right here, right now, was the Carter kid, or excuse me, the Davis kid, Jordan Davis. He almost ran down Josh Allen. I was like, holy shit, that dude is humongous. Look at him moving. Like that was an incredible thing to see. If you're a football fan, if you're a football coach, it doesn't matter. That was just insane to see.
Oh, when he was rolling to his left, yep. Oh, that guy's.
Yes.
Yeah.
Remember
6'6", 330.
Remember all the bad reports we got on that kid? Remember that?
Yep. We talked about him too.
So,
we talked about him.
Back to the Bills.
The Bills.
What is it? What are they missing? Like what is going on with them that they can't win games like this? And why is Diggs so upset? Like why does he always seem angry?
I don't want to answer that.
Yeah.
He's like Antonio Brown. He's a diva, man.
You mean Deontay Johnson?
He's on the same page as Johnson.
You mean Odell Beckham Jr.? You mean like I give you a whole list?
Just throw me the damn ball and no one else.
So you think it's the player, not the program?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
I think he thinks he's bigger than the program.
Personally, they might need a coaching change. Ooh. You can't have all that talent sitting right there in front of your face and fire the offense coordinator when it's not the offense coordinator's fault. He's putting points on the board, right? He's not telling Josh Allen, go ahead and throw picks. That wasn't his fault. Okay. No. Their defense has some really quality guys on it. They also
gave up 37 points. So,
well, they do give up a lot of points, but at the end of the day, they score a shit ton.
Yeah. That's true.
I don't know. To me, that sounds like a head coaching problem more than anything else. And that's me. Again, I'll take,
You know what's crazy though? You think about it, we talked about this in football class. How that whole game, all those plays, that one play that you talked about with Gabe Davis, that wins and loses the game. You do that, they make that one play and they're heroes. They win the whole game. Everyone, they're the greatest. They miss that one play and everyone's like, they suck. What the hell's wrong with them?
100%.
It's crazy.
That was
nuts.
I don't know if it was Thanksgiving, the holiday, or what, but watching football, I've seen so many receivers running the wrong routes or stopping quarterbacks overthrowing, underthrowing. Like I've never seen that so much in the last 4 or 5 games I watched over this holiday.
I have a theory.
What is it, Mike?
I think that there's more routes that are dependent on what the DBs are doing, and it takes more coordination than there have been in the past. Like I think you go, if he's off, run this. If it's tight man, run this. And then I think that causes miscommunication.
Who's that on? Who's that on? A wide receiver?
No, because that's curl to fade. It's always curl to fade. If he's off, it's curl. If he's on, it's fade. That's curl to fade.
I think there's more complex. I think there's more complex things going on there, but I just think that there's more variance allowed in the play itself, and that's causing miscommunication or different issues. That's just my opinion. I don't know that to be fact.
I don't know if you guys watched the Miami and the Jets game, but that's probably one of the most exciting and intriguing games I watched because I really focused on what Mike Daniel did offensively. And I'm an offensive guy. I kind of my family yells at me, probably just like you guys. I watch football like a coach. I don't watch it like a fan anymore. I haven't for years. And Mike McDaniel is just so freaking smart. He literally ran motion every play. And off of his motion, he has 2 plays. If they adjust to this, we run this. If they don't adjust to this, we do this. You could see it. It was evident right out of the gates. But my feeling is if you break down his film and you come out and you make adjustments to both of those things, he has a third alternative.
Wow.
That's my guess. I don't know. I don't know Mike. I don't know what the hell he's thinking, but I know from what after studying offense for years, that is exactly what I see going on. That's what makes him so unique at what he does, and he never even played in the NFL.
Think about the repetition it would take to do all that. Like you'd have to rep each of those instances, and you would have to have the defense,
right?
The
That's
scout D.
Yep.
Yeah, you would have to have them rep that perfectly,
Right.
and then you'd have to. Okay, let's do it. They do this. Now they do that, and then they do this, and they do that. Like
so
go
that
back
kind of
and
goes
forth.
along with what you said, Noob, about reading that. Yeah.
Mike, it comes in blocks of 5 when you install it. You ask Justin, he'll tell you if you're going to have an extensive playbook, you put it in blocks of 5 essentially, or blocks of 4. However you want to do it, you take one play, you do a bunch of variations off of it, and then you go ahead and move on to the next play once you feel like you've refined that play. He doesn't. My guess is McDaniel does not have an extensive playbook because when the adjustments happen, it looks like a different play is being run, but it's not being run. He's running the same basic play, and when the adjustment happens, he runs an adjustment with his offense.
That's crazy.
It's fun to watch. That was really fun to watch. Like I got sucked into that game really bad. Like I was like, holy shit, I love what he's doing here. This makes complete sense to me. It really made complete sense to me what he was doing. So,
back to seltzers. That's what you got sucked into. Next.
Come on, man. I love football. Jaguars and Texans. Okay. Another great division game. 2 teams who are leaning on their quarterbacks a great deal. Who knows who we're going to get with Travis Lawrence, right? Or Trevor Lawrence, I mean. Who knows who we're going to get with him? He plays really well some weeks. Some weeks he looks kind of invisible, as the team does. He plays better at home than he does on the road. A lot of teams do that. But I'll tell you what, the Stroud kid, and I know we've been singing his praise like crazy, but he is the best quarterback I've ever seen at this point come out of Ohio State.
Yeah.
It's just my opinion.
And probably rookie year.
I'm all over that tonight, huh, Noobs?
I didn't hear the Ohio State for a second. I was like, best ever seen? And you said Ohio State,
man.
Oh, okay.
Rasheed watched Justin Fields last night, and Terry talked about Justin Fields a couple weeks ago, and Terry was saying about how Justin Fields is putting up some decent numbers. I need to go back and look and see who he was putting up decent numbers against. But last night he played a Minnesota team that Josh Dobbs threw 4 interceptions. Now they're talking about starting Nick Mullen. Terry, where'd Nick Mullen go to school at? Don't look it up.
Nick Mullen.
Don't look it up. No, don't look it up, Mike. Where'd Nick Mullen go to school at? Don't look it up.
Minnesota.
Okay. Huh?
Minnesota?
You're throwing shit off the wall, hoping it sticks,
Florida.
Mike.
Florida?
I don't know. But the bottom line is
he played in Florida.
The bottom line is that's who their guy's probably going to be this week, Nick Mullen.
Look it up, T-Sizzle. Where do you go to school?
Nick Mullen.
Nick Mullen. That's what they're
I thought
saying.
he was the coordinator. He's not the coordinator?
No, he ain't the coordinator.
He's an American stand-up comedian, Nick Mullen. He's best known as Howie Hawkins. What are you talking? Is it Nick Mullins?
Nick Mullins, brother.
Yeah, whatever. You knew who I meant.
Mullins.
No, I
You
didn't.
want to give me some shit, but you knew what I meant.
Come on, guys. It's easy.
Pitt.
Oh, Southern Miss Golden Eagles.
Yes.
Wow.
That's
Brett
brilliant.
Favre. Brett Favre,
Southern
the same
Miss.
school as Brett Favre.
Mississippi State.
No, who said that?
No, Southern Miss.
Who the hell said Mississippi State?
Southern Miss. My bad. But, I mean, I'm going to be interested in seeing what happens with the Jaguars down the stretch here.
Hey,
They seem inconsistent. They're just inconsistent. It's weird.
I think it's him that's inconsistent.
You think it's Trevor Lawrence?
Lawrence?
He's here. Sometimes he's
and
good.
it's the consistency of NTN too. I think it's.
Does his
whole,
hair
I was just going to say that.
It must be
when
his
was the
hair.
last time you heard NTN's name?
it's a system. Yeah.
Okay.
When was the last time you heard NTN's name?
That division actually is being really competitive, minus the Titans right now. I thought Jacksonville's going to run away with it, but with all these things going on, I think Indianapolis right there, and so is Houston, and sitting in 6-5, both in second place.
Indianapolis just lost Jonathan Taylor today.
I saw that just 2 weeks.
They're unsure.
What is it?
I just traded for him too.
His hand.
His ham or thumb or something like that.
Yep, his thumb.
Did you say you just prayed for him?
I just traded for him.
Traded for him. Oh, okay.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
What'd you give up?
I gave up Dalton Kincaid and
Lord,
who's the running back from Cincinnati that they signed later? Played for him before. I'm drawing a blank on his name.
P-Run?
Mixon.
No, not Cincinnati. I'm sorry, Cleveland.
Pierre Strong. The one who was out, the one who ran last year, but then they brought him back this year.
Yep. I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Yeah, me.
But I gave up those two guys for Jonathan Taylor.
Okay.
And Jonathan Taylor ripped it off this week. He had 24 points for me. So I'm going to move on to our last game of the week. You guys know it's the Steelers. Steelers over the Bengals. They fired Matt Canada. We actually did that special episode, which was really fun to do. Noob, sorry you couldn't make that one. I was on the boat out in the middle of the sea. Enjoying myself. I had to make time for that. That was great.
Did the camera go like this?
No.
Couldn't even tell.
But I'll tell you what,
you could do your dance.
Yeah. Hey, don't get me started. I'll put the music on. You know how I feel about that. But
Mark was like this.
Noob, you ever cruise?
Yes.
It's quite the experience. I love
it. I gained about 12 pounds.
What the hell is
that? Now we'll go here.
Yeah, man.
Sheen, I was on the good ship Lollipop. That's the only cruise I went on.
Oh wow.
That was a 5th grade field trip.
They played this song at Young's Prom right here.
Young's Prom.
You gotta be on some psychedelics for this.
Yeah. What is this?
Maybe. All right.
This is terrible.
All right. Moving right. That was really bad. I just go with what they give me to use, baby. Steelers and Bengals. Okay. Jake Browning. He actually had a respectable day. He was 19 to 26, 227 yards, a touchdown and interception. I'm so sick and tired of people bitching about the Steelers offense and not really recognizing what the defense is doing. Okay. Their defense is some shit. It really is. Their corners play off 10, 12 yards because they're afraid of getting beat deep. I mean, it's
Porter does?
Huh?
Porter
does it, but they don't throw Porter's direction.
The old people's direction.
Yes. That's why you got so many holes in the middle of the field. They're running a zone blitz scheme, and they're not blitzing.
Yeah, they don't blitz much at all.
They don't blitz. They run a zone blitz scheme, and they don't blitz. We're not going to let you beat us over the top. We'll tackle in front of you if you get the ball away, but we're coming after you. They don't do it, though. They don't go after anybody. They don't. It's just a pain in the ass to watch that.
It is.
Who was looking at Terrell Austin? They're thinking about him being the next head coach of some college. I'll help pack his shit and move out of Pittsburgh if he needs a hand. Please, somebody pass that on to him. I have no problem driving up and helping him move his shit.
Terrell's my guy.
Who?
He is my guy. I ain't going to lie.
Who, Terrell?
Yeah.
You can have him.
I mean, in that sense, it's when I was the ball boy at Pitt. He was one of the players. That was one of my guys But,
he just doesn't get it done, though.
Yeah, I agree.
There's a guy who was fired mid-season by the Cincinnati Bengals as the defensive coordinator, yet the Steelers hang their hat on him.
Who was the head coach when he got
Syracuse?
Who's the head coach, Mark?
Potentially go to Syracuse.
Wait, Marvin was the head coach? That's why he was there then.
Yep.
That's why.
Yep.
I mean,
no question about it.
Yeah, it's all it's his friend, man.
We are in but I will say this: the offense looked better, 422 yards. Pickett threw I don't even have his numbers. I didn't put his numbers down, but I will tell you that Pat Freiermuth had his best game ever in his career.
Mm-hmm.
Pickett had 278, and Freiermuth had 9 catches for 120.
Wow. Before we actually go ahead away from this, though, let's talk Deontay Johnson. And I'm going to just shut my mouth and let you guys talk about this, guys. Mm-hmm. Deontay Johnson gets so pissed off now.
2 weeks in a row.
Off the line of scrimmage. The ball is fumbled, 2 yards away from him. He doesn't even make an attempt for it, and they run right past him.
they asked him, "What were you doing on that fumble?" He goes, "What?" So he asked them to repeat it so he could think. He goes, "I was doing what I do. I don't know." He said I was blocking or something.
I was doing what I do.
What I do. I don't know. I was blocking or something. And yeah.
He's becoming the new diva, but I mean that's nothing. I mean Randy Moss used to do the same thing. No,
he's not Randy Moss.
But he was Randy Moss.
I know. I'm just saying he did the same thing.
Mike, you're an NFL head coach. Your supposed number one walks off the line of scrimmage, doesn't attempt to recover a fumbled ball, does not chase the guy down who recovered it to tackle him. What are you doing?
This is why I wouldn't want to be an NFL coach.
Wow.
There's no right answer. I mean, you suspend him or you do anything. Let's sit him for a little bit, and then then he's pissed off, and then and the GM comes in and talks to you, and the owner, why are we having issues? Man, there's no right answer on that. I mean, I would sit him. Obviously, I would sit him personally, and we would have a talk about.
I'm sorry.
It's we before me. I mean, we would have that talk, but
you gotta move,
man.
You gotta move.
And that bench is the coach's best friend, and he's need to see it for a little bit because he's not putting up, and he just needs to shut up.
Higher rating.
Well, I would move on from him next year.
He has 1 year on his contract, and what I read today was
move on.
Steelers do not owe him shit. If he gets cut, they save $10 million.
Oh, he gone then. Yeah.
It is a $5 million.
2 years ago because of those antics he would do. He'd catch a ball, run back 10 yards to try to get
he still does that. He does that now. He's move on from him, man. If we could trade him.
And this is another place where it will be interesting to see how Mike Tomlin handles it. Mike Tomlin puts everything he keeps everything down on the down low with what he's doing. I get it. I think that's a great characteristic of a coach, but it's also a really shitty characteristic when everybody in America or anywhere watching that football game saw a guy walk 2 steps off the line of scrimmage, didn't try for a football and didn't try to make a tackle when the defender picked it up and ran the other way.
Terrible.
Like, that's bullshit. I'll look him right in his face and tell him that. What's he going to do? Hit me so I can cash in on him? That's just bullshit. That's bullshit.
They are grown-ups, but I hear you.
Okay,
being from Toledo, he went to Toledo. You think being from Toledo, he'd have a little more effort. Like, he wouldn't be all cocky like he went to the U or something,
No, Antonio Brown came from the MAC too.
Yeah, what Central Michigan?
Yes.
Yep.
Chippewa.
Did you ever hear why he ended up in Central Michigan? Did you ever read the article about him in Sports Illustrated?
No, I'm sure.
I recommend you read it. Antonio Brown's always been nuts.
Yeah.
He's always been
nuts. There were other schools recruiting him, though, weren't there?
Yeah, and he ended up at Central Michigan because of how nuts he was. Yep. Now think about this. Here's a super talented guy who lives in Florida. Could have went to Florida. Could have went to Florida State. Could have went to the U. Could have went to Central Florida, South Florida. He ends up at Central Michigan.
I would like to read that because, I mean, and he built himself up to what he got to in the NFL. Like, like when people are saying Pickens can't get open, well, it was Antonio Brown's routes that got him open. He wasn't like a 4-3 guy. It was his routes, and I think he just worked his way. I mean, I got to read that to see why, because was he that good coming out of high school? I wonder, because he built himself he built himself on the Steelers.
Make sure you take some time and read that article because his stepbrother, who he grew up with, I believe it was his stepbrother, he talks about how he had a lot of issues, mental health issues, just growing up. Yeah, he really does. So just some footnotes. Looks like Mahomes got his groove back, but they still don't have guys that can catch the damn ball there. They really don't in Kansas City. That's a travesty. If somebody takes away Travis Kelce, that team is just done. Okay. Myles Garrett injured in that Browns loss, left the locker room with a sling on. There's big tears happening in Cleveland because if they lose Myles Garrett,
he's good.
They already lost.
He is.
No structural damage. He's good.
Okay. McDaniel, classic banter with the Jets, standing near the heater, and the Jets fans are bitching at him. What's wrong with you? And he said, I'm cold. What do you want me to do? and he said, "By the way, did you see the scoreboard?" It was just so classic. And the last thing about some footnotes: Belichick secured his second losing season as the Patriots head coach. So
I looked that up. He's been in the league for 50 years. He got his start in 1975 with the Baltimore Colts. Retire, please.
He coached Earl Morrall.
All right, Thursday night game, guys. Seattle and Dallas. Who you like?
Dallas.
Dallas.
The Stars.
Okay. Indianapolis and Tennessee.
Tennessee, because no Taylor.
I'm going to go with the Colts.
No. I don't know.
I'm going with the Colts.
Yeah, Colts, because they got I'm hearing their secondary is pretty decent.
I'll go Tennessee. It's in Tennessee. I'll go Tennessee.
Okay. Sis?
Colts.
Colts.
Okay. All right. So we got 3 in Tennessee and 1 with the Colts. Chargers at New England. Do the Chargers get off the schneid?
Yes.
Yeah, because the Patriots are going for the number 1 pick.
I'm going to go New England to anti-jinx the Chargers.
I see what's going on.
I'm going Chargers. They get off the schneid. Hey, here's a really good game people are not looking at, you guys. Detroit at New Orleans.
That game sucks.
Yeah. What? Huh? Give me the run. Yeah. What makes it so good?
Makes it so good. Joey Woods is calling the defense.
I'm going with Detroit. By the way.
Why are you saying it's good?
Yeah, I don't get that either.
I'm going to go New Orleans.
Give me the Lions.
I want you both to do research before I even answer your question because New Orleans has one of the top defenses in the leagues. And
yes,
you
I know that.
And you already know what Detroit can do because I ran off all their offensive firepower.
Yeah, but Carson,
you already know that. I'm gonna go with Detroit on a rebound, but I'll tell you what, it's gonna be a low scoring game.
All right.
Who are you taking, Terry?
I said the Lions, please.
Okay.
Detroit. I got Detroit.
Atlanta at the Jets. Here's one that nobody needs to watch unless you're a fan. A diehard.
Jacksonville.
Hey,
Atlanta.
If the Jets have the ball with 2 seconds left in the half, what are you doing?
Oh, you said the Jets. I thought you said the Jacks. I thought you said Jacksonville.
I'm going to go with the Falcons.
I'm going with the Jets.
I'm going to go ATL, Atlanta.
Did you guys see that, though? The Jets, 2 seconds left in the first half. They throw a 100-yard pick six.
Holman out of Louisville.
I was watching that. That shit was crazy.
Just down the ball, please.
Cardinals at Pittsburgh.
The Steelers.
Broncos. Let's go Steelers.
No one circles the wagon.
Across the board.
Hey, if they win, this is his 9th win, right?
No, they're 7-4.
Oh, that's right.
You must have. All right. Carolina at Tampa.
Carolina.
Tampa. Yeah, we're all Tampa. You're Tampa, right? He says.
Miami at Washington.
Yes.
What? Even ask. I got Miami.
That's across the board.
Give me the Fins.
Denver at Houston. Denver's on a 5-game win streak, man.
They are hot.
I got Houston.
I'm going to go Houston. Denver has been winning with turnovers.
I'll go with the Texans.
I got Houston, baby.
We're across the board then because I took them too. Cleveland at the Rams.
Cleveland. Oh, no. Wait.
Rams. I'm going with the Rams.
Based off of what, Sizzle?
They're playing like their 5th string quarterback.
Okay. Joe Flacco's starting for the Cleveland Browns this week because Dorian Robinson-Thompson is in concussion protocol.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Rams.
I just think the Rams.
Yeah, I got Rams because you still got to be able to throw in that defense, which they ain't gonna be able to do.
And the Rams.
This next one.
Plus, the Rams are favored by 4.
San Francisco at Philly. A repeat, a rematch of last year's NFC Championship.
At Philly.
I'm going with Philly.
The Niners are favored by 2.5 of this game.
I'm going with Frisco.
You. I agree. San Francisco.
I'm going to go with Philadelphia.
You're the only one, baby. I'm riding with San Francisco. I think Birdie has a. I think pretty
fly,
Birdie.
Eagles fly.
Okay. Kansas City at Green Bay.
Kansas City. The San Francisco treat.
Kansas City, the San Francisco treat.
What do you got, noobs?
I don't know why. I have a weird feeling Green Bay might get them on this. I'm gonna. Yeah, but it's Sunday night. Oh, Kansas City. It's Sunday night. The refs will definitely favor Kansas City.
Okay.
We got
to be one of those games.
Hank Stram.
Sizzle.
Lombardi.
Yeah. Wait, who is it again?
It's Kansas City at Green Bay.
Green Bay's Kansas been good. City. Don't sleep on Green Bay. It's gonna be a game.
Jordan Love's had 3 really good weeks.
Rice-A-Roni's the San Francisco treat. Says
Give me the Chiefs.
Okay. That's across the board. Last game Monday night, Cincinnati at Jacksonville.
Jack in the pack. Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Is this across the board?
Jacksonville.
Bobby Petrino back to Arkansas. Wow.
Yeah, what the heck? The SEC is
I don't think Browning can get it done. Give me the Jags.
Okay.
From Northwest.
All right. We're building a franchise, man. We're moving on to the final segment of the show. What teams need to blow up their franchise and start all over again?
Carolina.
Patriots.
They've already started it, but Washington, they've kind of started that, but they're going to get rid of a lot of people, and I mean, if you call that blowing it up, and they've gotten rid of their 2 best defensive assets. I mean, they're in that process, I believe.
Terry?
I said New England. They're 2-9.
Yes, they are.
They can move on from Mac Jones. They're not going to lose anything there.
Yeah.
And their
what about Belichick?
They got to move on from him. He's 90 years old. He's been coaching longer than more than half his life. He's been.
Yeah. I think they're trying to see if somebody will trade for him. They're going to try and get some money, get some kind of asset.
Yeah, Washington.
I heard that. Yeah,
dude, I hope not. Oh my god.
Hey, you know who I'm going with?
He is the highest paid coach in the league. He makes $20 million a year.
Damn,
I'm going with the Jets.
Just get rid of everything. Salah and everybody.
Clean that shit out.
Salah?
And see, that's what I'm thinking when you say blow up.
I like Salah, but I don't think he's getting it done. I know their defense played well at the beginning of the year, but as time marches on, I don't.
But how good can you play in today's football if you don't have an offense? Like you're playing a team that's going to get the ball like 4 more possessions.
I'll give you an idea how you can do it. It's called the Pittsburgh Steelers. Their offense sucked, and they're 7-4.
But do they have 100%. Ball control? Is the clock? I guess
I got ball control.
Yeah, well, you can do that at your own house. But Kenny Pickett's only thrown it over. It's only thrown it 4 turnovers. So that's ball control.
Yeah, that's the amazing piece of it too.
Yeah,
Kenny Pickett is. I'm not going to say it, but he is. He's only turned it over.
That's good. Yeah,
4 times. Yep.
I'm just saying some of those defensive woes are because the offense is so bad.
Yes.
Let me ask you this now. Yeah. What sets a perpetual winner apart from a perpetual loser? Is it the coach, the GM, the team president, or the owner?
All the above.
I would say the organization, management.
If you had to start somewhere, Mike.
Owner.
Coach.
Starts with the owner.
Rasheen?
Coach.
Sizzle.
Tradition.
What?
I'm going with the owner. And
I'm going with the owner. I'm going to go with the owner too, simply because I watch the Pittsburgh Pirates fizzle out each and every year because the owner does not take stock in winning championships. He just wants dollars in his pocket. And I think if you're a professional sports owner, you had better want to win championships.
Two examples real quick. I'm sorry, Rasheen. Two examples. Washington, the Redskins, all right, all about the owner. And then Spanos with the Chargers, moving them from San Diego, like so many different, like he's ruined them. And they have talent. The talent's just not coming together because it all starts at the top.
Okay, Mike, how about the owner in Dallas?
He's a good
How about
owner.
the owner in Pittsburgh? You're forgetting the owner in Pittsburgh. He waited till mid-season of the third year of a contract for a guy who's had his offense at the bottom of the league perpetually since he came on board as the offensive coordinator. How much does the owner give a shit about that until now, when people have lost their mind, when players have lost their minds? He's got guys like Najee Harris speaking out. That makes you change things.
Yeah, but you can't.
Tomlin took all credit and blame for that.
You guys have good ownership. Pittsburgh has great ownership. I even as you give that example, I think overall, that's pretty tradition. There's great tradition there, and I think you got to appreciate what you have.
I think Snyder was trying to be like Jerry Jones, stepping in way too much, and then we're bitching and complaining about our owners not stepping in at all and saying, "Let's go, you got to make some changes." And so there's got to be some fine line and happy medium there, but I think it's the owner.
How about this? Do we let the owner hire the team president, who hires the GM, who hires the head coach, or is this a cohesive effort where the owner is involved in all this? Because there's some owners who are completely hands off.
No, you have to be involved.
I think
it depends. It depends
because you got to work with this person.
Well, okay, but so say you're the guy from Jacksonville who doesn't know shit about football. Like he's gonna be in on hiring the head coach and all that.
He better culture himself.
You have that's a
good point.
I think that's one of the questions, philosophies, but you have to have that common core that people are motivated and that purpose driven to establish that team, that community, that belief that we're all in this together. I may not know anything, but I'm hiring you because you know a hell of a lot, Noob, and I want you to run it. Yeah. But we all need to be on that same page, I think.
I think I'm gonna learn though. It's kind of like, and I hate to say this, guys, and I'll probably lose some people who are listening, and I don't give a shit at this point, but Trump came in, he's a shitty human being, really shitty human being. But what he did was he ran this country like a business and he kind of funneled things into a place where we had success. We had lower gas prices. Our grocery prices were lower. People were finding more success with things like jobs and our society didn't like that. So from a professional standpoint, again, don't get me wrong, I'm not a Trump backer, okay? But from a professional organization standpoint, that guy who owns that team had better be driven. He better be passionate about what he's buying into and want to learn and have a successful organization.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. I'm just trying to make it. I'm trying to make it.
He don't need to know X and O's, but he got it what you just said.
Yeah.
I think you got a good people around you, obviously, but he can be part of the process, but lean on the people that know more, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. And you got to be willing to listen. You got to be willing to listen to what the hell they tell you.
Yeah.
True. If I'm bringing in Kyle Shanahan or Mike Shanahan or one of those guys who've experienced success, I better be listening to what they're telling me to get to that point. And I also better be willing to make changes. I think part of the problem with some of these teams that, well, let's take Tepper, for example, down in Carolina, 6 coaches since 2019. The Pittsburgh Steelers have had 6 coaches since 1957, I believe it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need the continuity.
And that's an outlier. That's exceptional there. I think both are, realistically, but you're right.
Well, whether it's an outlier or not, there's a guy who, he has Pittsburgh ties. He was part of the ownership group, I believe, at one point, just like the guy in Cleveland. He was part of the ownership group. I wouldn't be surprised if Cleveland didn't make the playoffs if what's his name? What the hell's the guy's name at Cleveland now?
Who, the coach?
Yeah, the head coach. Kevin Stefanski. I wouldn't be surprised if they cut him loose. if they did not make the playoffs. It would not shock me if they cut him loose. And I don't think that's how you build continuity. I don't think that's how you build an organization.
It's not.
I think, Rob's on here, or maybe not, but the Giants have a good organization. The Mars are good group, good ownership group. They're just hitting a speed bump right now. They had some losses with injuries, but they'll turn it around, I think, next year if they get those guys back healthy and rebuild in the draft and pick up some guys in the offseason.
Well, I think
they got to have patience with that head coach. I like the head coach. I think he's
good. Yeah. I think they need to understand this is the direction we're going, and this is the kind of personnel we need to get. That's another piece of this that I wanted to talk about was when you're putting your team together, philosophically speaking, you got to decide what direction you want to go with your team and mold your team around the direction you want to go. We're going to be fast. Okay, Miami's fast as hell. Right? That's what they want to do. We're going to throw the ball a lot, and we're going to be accurate with our quarterback. That's what Kansas City does. The offense is built around that. I think too many times the guys are just all over the fucking board, and they don't know what direction they want to go with what they want to do, and they're trying to do a little bit of everything, and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Well, I think also you're limited in your resources and what you can get on your team. You may want speed, but how many Tyreek Hills are there in the league? You know what I mean?
How many are there in the draft, though? How many guys come out in the draft that you can at least try and groom to do some of the? You're not going to have 100 Tyreek Hills, Mike. You're 100% right. There's no question.
But then that's for the offensive coordinator and team to readjust that philosophy and base it off of who you have.
You could draft Tank Dell.
And you could.
Yeah, right there.
Tank Dell. Yep. I mean, that was a hell of a pick.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 100%. Great pick.
I'm not saying abandon ship and throw out your whole playbook, but if you have biggies, you're not going to run jet sweep, 100 times like the Steelers. you're going to do something else. And
there's 32 teams in the NFL, right? 30. Am I right? 32 teams in the NFL. Yeah, 32 teams in the NFL. Not every team has the capability of doing what Miami does, what Kansas City does, or any of those teams. You got to be a little bit lucky, but you have to draft with the philosophy, and I think that's where it all comes into play. Rasheen, if you were drafting tomorrow, you're drafting from the ground up because you're rebuilding your franchise. You go offense, you go defensive line. When I say offense, I'm talking offensive line, defensive line, the quarterback. Where do you start building from?
Quarterback.
Yep.
Can't win without a good quarterback. I mean, you can't even really compete.
Yeah, we all agree on that.
I thought
everybody, all the team.
I agree, but I thought about it as like, do you draft with need or best on board?
So if I'm building from the ground up, I'm doing best on the board.
I'm doing need. Yeah, heck shit. Listen, you can't play with if you don't even have a decent quarterback. You know what I mean? Like Cleveland now, they ain't gonna be able to compete and make it go any further. Cincinnati, they're not gonna be able to compete and go. I mean, it's just proven.
I think there's a balance. I think there's a balance. Like you got to balance the two. I think if the best guy on your board is a wide receiver, and you have 3 really good wide receivers, but you have no DNs, and the guy three notches lower is a DN, then you take the DN if he fits your system. Yeah. So it's like you got to balance it. You can't go straight off the board, best on the board, I think, every time. But if it fits what you need, then I think you do that within reason.
That was my question. Yeah.
Is it a comprehensive? Is that a comprehensive team philosophy that you build starting with the quarterback, or does the head coach say, "Look, I can't put a team together unless I have the quarterback that can run this system"?
I think if you can get that quarterback to run your system, you take him. But if he's not on the board, you're going to have to take somebody and adjust your system. That's what I was saying earlier.
Mike, if you have the number 1 pick this year and you're building from the ground up, remember, we're building a franchise here, and we've already made a bunch of decisions. And you got to go, and you got it. I don't give a shit what team you are, Mike. Whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do.
Do I have any resource? Like, am I the Washington? Do I have Sam Howell?
Now, let's say you don't have Sam Howell.
All right.
Because I know what you want to do. You want to build a line. I know what you want to do already. We've had this conversation. Let's say you don't have Sam Howell. Or let's say Sam Howell's not functioning like he is, because he's doing solid. I think he's a solid quarterback. I think he's only going to get better.
He's leading
but let's say you don't have Sam Howell and you look at this year's draft class. Who's your number one?
Yeah, it's not going to be popular, but I'm going to take Caleb Williams.
Why?
Quarterback.
I think I have seen him do things that I haven't seen other quarterbacks do. Pat brought it up today about him being the best high school quarterback he's seen. He makes throws and he makes things happen. We played against him in 7-on-7, and I was like, how the hell can you even stop that? There's things he can do that I don't see other kids doing. I think he's got a great arm. I think he's very athletic. He sees the game different than a lot of other people do. I think he's a really good player. I would go with him. That'd be my gut. And I could be wrong. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. But that's
Terry, who'd be your number one?
My number one? I don't know. And again, it depends on what I'm drafting for. I'm all about
your number one quarterback
scenario.
First guy off the board.
I'm not sold on him. I think that May dude from North Carolina is better.
Rasheem?
Drake May. I'm taking a quarterback. I mean, it's going to have to be either Williams or May. Yeah, it has to be one of the two. You know, I mean, my problem with Williams is he's never played in a defensive league. It's all been offensive leagues.
What about Jaden Daniels from LSU?
No, I'm good.
Are we looking at Jamar Russell there?
No, he ain't that
Marcus.
Bad. Or Marcus Russell? Yeah, Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah,
he ain't that bad. He ain't bad at all, but I don't think he's that quarterback. I don't think he's the one.
You know, one of the things that hold me up on Caleb Williams, thinking about it now, is his dad. I think that would bother me. His dad's, pushing for the part ownership of the team. Like, if there would be too many distractions, I would 100% go to Drake May or whoever else I thought after evaluating was better. I mean, May does look pretty good, but that would bother me a lot.
Is he like Mr. Ball in the NBA? Like
yes, similar.
Mellow ball, whatever it is, balls.
Yes, his dad's gotten in the way of a lot of things. Yes,
I didn't know that.
Interesting. I personally, when Pat said that today, I listened to him, and I respect Pat. I respect his opinions about football. If Pat's listening, if Pat watches this, whatever, yeah. I respect everything about what he says. But what a kid can do in high school football against kids who may never even play college football at any level, compared to what he can do against Michigan, Notre Dame, and Ohio State, and Alabama, Georgia, and not win those games, that changes the dynamic for me. That really does, because each and every week, even though we talked about some teams that are not very good in the NFL on a perpetual basis, those teams are still NFL players. They're still D linemen that are running as fast as get out. And I don't know.
Do you think if he's at Ohio State, they're undefeated right now?
No.
Yeah, he's got a plethora of talent around him.
I
don't think they're not going to beat Michigan. I don't think they beat
Yes,
Michigan.
they are. With Caleb Williams, they are.
Well, I think with Caleb Williams, they win. I think they're undefeated with Caleb Williams.
Maybe.
I mean,
how about at Penn State?
To talk about.
Let's throw him on Penn State.
I think he's on injured reserve.
Let's throw him on Florida State.
Ooh.
They got the 4th seed, and that their quarterback's hurt. I don't know.
I say they're still undefeated. Yes, they're undefeated because they don't play as strong a competition. That goes back to what Rasheem was saying.
Him on Ohio State, they go undefeated. That's a fact.
Yeah, I agree.
Their top 2 receivers are going to be number 1 draft picks. There's no question about it. They had 2 top receivers the year before. Ohio State is draft pick wide receiver.
Wide receiver.
Yeah.
Harrison is going to go to the Cardinals.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's interesting to just kind of take a look at that in depth like that. Mike, if you, and this is the last question, if you had a team philosophy, brand new team, brand new owner, you're the brand new owner of the Washington Redskins, okay? Or excuse me, the Commanders. What's your team philosophy?
As an organization, total organization?
Yep.
I want the players to be treated a little better than they have been. I want better facilities. I want them to be appreciated and feel appreciated, whereas I don't think they have been. There's certain teams where they get charged for meals. Bullshit. I'm taking care of those guys. Those guys are going to get the best medical treatment they can get. They're going to get the best facilities, the best strength coaches. Like, I want them to feel kind of like Jerry Jones does, but I almost wonder if he goes a little too far with everything. But something like that, where I want them to be well taken care of. I want them to feel appreciated. I want them to be proud to be part of our organization. So I want to be known as an organization that does things the right way. And, like, not half-assing anything as far as that goes. I would want it to be like that. And I think Dan Snyder cut corners. We can save money doing this. We can save money doing that. Bullshit. Take care of your guys. Take care of your people. Make them feel appreciated.
He was saving money to make himself money.
Rasheed, what's your philosophy?
And get those guys some massages too, Coach. Come on.
Rasheed, what's your philosophy?
My philosophy is pretty much the same, but I like knuckleheads on my team. I do like a couple knuckleheads. So, I like to have the best of the best too, but I like to have some hungry guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I don't mind you getting in trouble as long as you ain't killing people out here. You know what I mean? Beating up on people, but the other stuff I don't mind. Yeah.
Dragging your girlfriend out the elevator.
Yeah, I'm
your kids with switches.
Yeah,
and that's I like how Tomlin handles that. He's like, if I don't have those guys, and they're just okay not getting the ball, not toking the rock, they're okay with that. I don't get a good sense for their hunger. They don't got an appetite to be out there. I want them to be fired up. I want them to throw their helmet or get pissed off every once in a while. You do need that. I agree with you on that, but you got to tone it down and have that common purpose. And I think everyone has to be on that same page. Have the belief that you're going to win, even when you're down by 10 or whatever it was. The Patriots were when they beat the who'd they beat?
Atlanta.
I mean, that still has to haunt that dude.
Dan Quinn.
But just that common belief, being on the same page, and open communication from the top down, so everybody knows that has that transparency, knows what's going on. There has to be a dedicated coaching staff from the tape guy all the way to the head coach and everybody in between, and everything that you guys mentioned, I think is the philosophy that needs to be in place.
So to what Rasheed was saying, I love it, that tough guy attitude. Like, think about the best players that ever played the game. Best defensive player ever would either be LT or Reggie White, probably. LT, right?
Yeah.
Is not even close to being a Saint, right? Dude was wild. That's the way you have to be. You have to be built like that. I agree with you 100,000%. Ray Lewis was not an angel. I think he's a good person. He's a great heart, but he's not an angel. He's a bad dude. Do you agree?
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta have guys like that.
Yep.
Ruthless.
You need somebody with an edge. I agree.
Yeah. Ronnie Lott. I mean, tough
I think
people.
Philosophically, for me, when you walk through the doors of my organization and you're part of a family, and nobody is, not one person is better than the other person. From the secretary sitting at the desk that checks you in to the guy who mops the floor in the bathroom when you're done. Everybody gets treated with the same respect, because it takes every person in that organization for you to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just that's just where I am with it mentally. It should never. I think some of those teams, and Mike and Rasheed, you guys hit it right on the head there, that there are some teams in the NFL, and they showed this last year in a survey, that there are some teams that just shit on these guys. Okay, they pay them their 8, 10, whatever millions of dollars, or their league minimum salary that seems like a shit ton, but after you pay taxes, it's not really. but they, on top of all that, those guys they're not treated like fair. On top of all that, like, you know, I hate to say this, but you're a special person if you make it into professional athletics. If you make it as an entertainer, if you make it as a professional musician, you're a special person. You got that break in life that everybody wants. I get it. You should get some of these things, but you also have to learn to respect that part of it too. You know, you could play with that edge. Totally agree with you, Rasheen. You can play with that edge, but what I don't want you to do is not respect everybody in that building. You know, and that's the one thing I hear about Tomlin a lot. He treats everybody the same. He's a good morning to everybody when he walks in, whether he's gotten his ass kicked that day or whether it's mid February or mid March, and he's just coming in to do his job and get ready for a draft, whatever. That's the one thing I've always heard about Tomlin. He gives everybody the same amount of respect. Never heard anything different about that man. Never. You know, so hey guys, awesome show. I got to tell you, we're going to skip final segment with a top 5 combo power protein ranking because we've been going freaking forever. We could probably go another 2 hours, but Rasheen, tell them where they can find you at.
I ain't hard to find. Rasheen Hill. Everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, your mama's jam, MySpace.
Mama's jam.
You got your MySpace still running?
No, no.
MySpace.
Noobs, where do we find you?
Simple at Coach Noob. It's right there. You can see it. Right there we go.
You should have at Danube.
Yeah.
Shiz?
At One Young Terry on Instagram and the X.
There it is. There it is. Hey, you can find us on our website, podpage.com, Original Sports Podcast with Mark Maradei. I can tell you right now, some big changes are coming up. I'm making some big changes. My boys are all on board, and I really got to give them more of a shout out, not just showing up to the show. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can find us on Snapchat, TikTok, and of course, you can find us on YouTube. You can see us live every week. We've been doing a kick-ass job doing that, and I want to thank you guys so much for just putting your time in to make the show successful. I want you to know that you can email us at originalsportspodcast@gmail.com if you have any comments, questions. You might even know somebody who might want to be a guest on the show. So feel free to reach out to us. Let us know. Thanks to Sean and Koviak for doing our voice intro. Charlie Hodgson, our guy at Northwest, for doing our music intro and outro, and my lovely wife, who not only served me some wine this evening, but also is our webmaster. Join us next week to experience the O on the Original Sports Podcast.
Let me treat you, Rasheen.